Are you worried that the Indiana Fever are about to just take over the WNBA because Caitlyn Clark's coming to town?
Sorry about it.
Yeah, no, we wanted her. She'd be great. I wish we could have had her, but they're going to be good. She's an unbelievable player. You see her last night? I mean, she's sick.
Stud.
She is phenomenal.
Something clicked with the WNBA, and it's because of the draft of the players that came in. It's just not Caitlyn Clark. It's Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized, and I don't think we can just pin it on one player.
Caitlyn Clark's influence on the WNBA is so profound that it has caught the attention of everyone, from team owners to fans, analysts, and commentators. Her unique playing style and the excitement she has brought to the game have generated widespread praise, but it's her rookie season that has exceeded expectations and started to change the entire landscape of the league. Team owners aren't just acknowledging her basketball skills, they are also noticing how her presence is shaking up the business side of the WNBA. The reactions to Caitlyn's impact vary from blunt criticism fueled by envy to genuine admiration, yet all these responses underscore the remarkable way in which she is reshaping the sport. Observing what people are saying about Caitlyn can offer a fresh perspective on her influence within the league. Ted Leonsis, the longtime owner of both the Washington Wizards and Washington Mystics, has experienced both highs and lows on the court and in team ownership. When discussing Caitlyn Clark, his tone is filled with admiration for the significant impact she has already had on the WNBA. What's truly impressive is that Caitlyn isn't even on one of his teams, yet her presence excites him about the league's future as a whole. This is a testament to what has come to be known as the Caitlyn Clark effect. Ted's perspective on Caitlyn focuses primarily on her financial impact, looking at the ripple effects her success generates without even delving into her impressive basketball abilities. He talks about her ability to attract tens of thousands of fans, which has a much larger economic effect that extends beyond the arena.
We have back-to-back Mystics games.
You sure do.
WNBA tonight and tomorrow night. There'll be 30,000 people or so in those two nights coming into D.C. And most of them come in from Maryland and Virginia, and they'll spend money in D.C., pay tax dollars here.
Well, people are talking about the Caitlyn Clark effect in the local media today. You're right. You've got 4 games now for the WNBA this season, I believe. Tonight, tomorrow are going to be huge at the Capital One Arena.
From boosting local spending to reviving interest in the league, Caitlyn's influence is undeniable. It's a testament to her remarkable reach that even team owners from rival franchises acknowledge and celebrate her role in elevating both the game and its wider community. Clara Whee, Tsai, owner of the New York Liberty, did not hold back when discussing Caitlyn Clark's transformative effect on the WNBA. She pointed out that Clark's rise feels like a game changer, made possible by the power of social media, which has played a key role in helping her reach unprecedented levels of popularity.
Profitable and a risky
Clara believes
investment.
Clark is exactly what the league needed to convert passionate college basketball fans into dedicated followers of professional women's basketball. As the owner of the Liberty, Clara is intimately familiar with the challenges the WNBA has faced. When she purchased the Liberty, the team was considered a risky investment and unprofitable.
That's what really allowed viewers to actually follow players from college into the WNBA. And that is really what the league was looking for and what it needed. But it was really the fact that ESPN and actually reporters like Robin Roberts and Gayle King actually went to cover Caitlyn when she was in college. And so she did become a household name before she even went into the draft.
With that backdrop, Clara's admiration for Caitlyn's impact on the league takes on added significance. Clara might be leading one of the most significant franchise turnarounds in WNBA history and possibly even in women's sports overall, thanks to Caitlyn Clark's ability to bring in larger crowds and draw more attention to the league. She continues to praise Caitlyn Clark for her distinctive playing style, emphasizing how it sets her apart in women's sports and resonates with a new audience. While the WNBA may not display the same level of athleticism as the NBA, players like Caitlyn Clark are demonstrating that their skill sets have reached a special tier that deserves to be showcased live. According to her, people flock to see Caitlyn's unique style of play, with her deep three-pointers referred to as the Logo 3 becoming the equivalent of the NBA dunk. The demand for this style of basketball is clear, fans want to see it in person. This surge in viewership can be attributed to Caitlyn and the entire rookie class, which has contributed to a significant rise in the WNBA's popularity. NBA legend Dwayne Wade, part owner of the Chicago Sky, recently shared his thoughts on how Caitlyn Clark is sparking interest in the league. The Chicago Sky, home to Caitlyn Clark's rival Angel Reese, has often been seen as one of Clark's.
Your media covers went one way, and then Caitlyn's went one way, and Paige's is one. Everyone has their own, media that's on them and covering them a certain way. Yours went the way that is unfortunate from the standpoint of you have to be looked at as the bad guy.
Toughest competitors. This rivalry has been fueled by incidents such as Chendi Carter's hard foul on Clark, which drew substantial criticism for its intensity. Wade's perspective adds an interesting layer to the situation, particularly since he shared his thoughts during an episode of Angel Reese's podcast, Unapologetically Angel. Wade is fully aware of the ongoing rivalry between his team, led by his star player, and Caitlyn Clark, and while he clearly supports his own side, he acknowledges that the situation is unfortunate. Another WNBA owner, Renee Montgomery of the Atlanta Dream, also weighed in on the rivalry, recognizing its importance in the evolution of the league. She highlighted the impact that the Caitlyn Clark-Angel Reese rivalry has had, emphasizing how it has
I think there's a real effect there. I think that this draft class led by Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese, there's a real demand. There's a real following. There are fans that are online, and there's also fans that are following.
Generated an unprecedented level of demand and fandom for the WNBA. This is something that team owners could never have predicted before the emergence of these two rising stars. Clark and Reese have successfully brought their passionate college fan bases into the professional league, converting them into loyal WNBA supporters. However, recently, Renee Montgomery
praised Caitlyn Clark's undeniable talent,
has made some controversial comments about the rivalry. While she has consistently praised Caitlyn Clark's undeniable talent, she has openly sided with Angel Reese and labeled Clark's fans as racist and hateful. From a marketing and fan engagement standpoint, Montgomery has been sharply critical of Clark's supporters, acknowledging that rivalry-related hate is a long-standing tradition in sports but arguing that Clark's fans have taken it too far with.
So Caitlyn had these big expectations when she came into the league, and she's clearly exceeding all of them, not only on the court, but off of the court, being an ambassador for these brands. But something sinister is happening online with Caitlyn's fan base and these stands that needs to be addressed. So all I'm saying is sports hate is okay. It's acceptable. It's actually welcome. We love the passionate fans. But some of y'all are taking it too far, man. Do better.
Their intense criticism of rivals. In her full rant, Montgomery expressed frustration with the way Caitlyn Clark's supporters have engaged with the rivalry. Magic Johnson's rivalry with Larry Bird is often cited as one of the most iconic in sports history, transcending basketball itself. Their competition throughout the 1900 ADS is frequently credited with revitalizing the NBA and setting it on the path to global popularity. The stark differences between Magic and Bird, both on and off the court, captivated audiences, and their college matchups only added fuel to the fire, giving rise to one of the most compelling rivalries in sports history. This historic rivalry is frequently used as a comparison when discussing the dynamic between Caitlyn Clark and Angel Reese in women's basketball. The parallels are not lost on Magic Johnson himself, who has openly acknowledged the similarities between the two rivalries. As a part owner of the Los Angeles Sparks, Magic has a vested interest in the growth and success of the WNBA. In a recent interview, he expressed optimism about the
Caitlyn is the most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered the league. We became the best later on by our play. Caitlyn still has to play great to become the best WNBA player.
Rivalry between Clark and Reese, framing it as the beginning of something much bigger for these two young stars. He emphasized that while they have incredible potential, there is still much for them to prove before they can be considered among the greatest players of all time, like he and Bird were during their playing days. Todd Bailey, another part owner of the Los Angeles Sparks, shares Magic's enthusiasm for the growth of the WNBA, but Bailey is particularly focused on the business aspects of the sport. Bailey is also well known as the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers in Major League Baseball, making him a savvy businessman with a keen eye for growth opportunities. When discussing Caitlyn Clark's impact, Bailey highlights the athlete's undeniable talent as the driving force behind the potential for significant growth in the league. From a business standpoint,
the Caitlyn Clark phenomenon has been nothing short of just amazing, right? The men's Final Four had a lower media audience than the women's Final Four this year. And that was Caitlyn Clark, and she played her first game last night and proved that she deserves to be in the WNBA, scored 20 points in her first game. And I think it's just getting started. You're going to see the WNBA continue to grow.
Bailey emphasizes the way Clark has captured the public's attention, noting that her presence on the court is a must-watch event. He points to an impressive statistic. During the women's college basketball Final Four, the matchups featuring Clark at her best drew a higher media audience than the men's Final Four in the same year. This kind of attention is a testament to Clark's transformative impact on the sport, suggesting,
I feel really bad because I've seen so many players of color that are equally as talented, and they never got the recognition that they should have. And I think right now, it is time for that to happen. So last night, we read Time magazine where Caitlyn Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said, the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have? Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. And so now you're starting to hear stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that. We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing and their talents.
That the WNBA is on the verge of new heights due to her popularity. In contrast, Sheila Johnson, the owner of the Washington Mystics, recently faced considerable backlash for her comments regarding Caitlyn Clark winning Time magazine's Athlete of the Year title. Johnson's remarks sparked widespread criticism from sports commentators, NBA legends, and even political figures. Her response was seen as poorly thought out and lacking awareness, especially given the significance of Clark's achievement. Johnson's statements included several problematic elements. First, she argued that many players of color are statistically as good as Caitlyn Clark, a claim that currently lacks empirical support. At present, very few players, if any, are performing at Clark's level, particularly at such a young age. This makes the excitement surrounding her rise all the more remarkable. To reduce her accomplishments to mere privilege or racial dynamics diminishes the hard work, talent, and effort Clark has invested in her career. Moreover, Johnson's comments appeared hypocritical, as she simultaneously claimed not to want to focus on issues of racism in the WNBA, yet singled out Clark in a way that could be construed as racially charged. Perhaps the most baffling aspect of Johnson's remarks was her suggestion that instead of honoring Clark individually, Time magazine should have recognized the entire WNBA as League of the Year. This suggestion completely missed the point of the award, which is intended to celebrate an individual's achievements, not an entire league. Sheila Johnson's response to Caitlyn Clark's recognition highlighted a lack of understanding about the significance of such an award and revealed her apparent reluctance to fully acknowledge Clark's accomplishments. Glen Taylor, the owner of both the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Lynx, also shared his perspective on Caitlyn Clark's impact on the sport. Taylor's response was both reflective and insightful, as he recognized the tangible effects Clark's influence has had on the WNBA. He acknowledged the increase in viewership and attention surrounding the league as a direct result of Clark's entrance into the professional basketball scene. Taylor, who witnessed the arrival of another generational talent in Maya Moore, compared the hype surrounding Clark to the expectations that surrounded Moore when she was drafted by the Lynx in 2011. Although mentioning Moore may have seemed like a humble brag, Taylor's comparison carried significant weight. Maya Moore not only met the high expectations placed on her, but she far exceeded them, becoming the cornerstone of the Lynx franchise. Under her leadership, the
going to increase the viewership. She's an exciting young woman that just has great skills, fun to watch. This was already showed during her college career. She's going to go to Indiana. I think it's going to really help their team. But if you go back a ways, we had Maya Moore come into the league, kind of the same thing, but at a different time.
Lynx won 4 WNBA championships, tying for the most titles in league history. Taylor pointed out that the level of pressure and expectations placed on Clark now is similar to what Moore faced during her career. For Taylor, this comparison illustrates the unique ability of generational talents like Clark and Moore to elevate their teams and the league as a whole. This dynamic of raising expectations and lifting a team to new heights is something that transcends individual performances. It is about setting a new standard for the sport and inspiring future generations to follow in their footsteps. Taylor's insight highlights the broader impact of Caitlyn Clark, suggesting that she has the potential to leave a lasting legacy in the WNBA, much like Maya Moore did during her illustrious career. Glen Taylor's acknowledgement that we are living in a different era is valid, especially considering the role social media plays in amplifying pressure, criticism, and negativity directed toward players. This environment can make it even harder for players like Caitlyn Clark to thrive. However, the comparison to legends like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird is still an important compliment. It underscores that Caitlyn Clark is seen as a player with the potential for greatness and a promising career ahead of her. Such comparisons highlight how her talent and impact are already being recognized on a broader scale.
I'm all in with the Phoenix Suns and Mercury.
Are you worried that the Indiana Fever are about to just take over the WNBA because Caitlyn Clark's coming to town?
Sorry about it.
Yeah, no, we wanted her. She'd be great. I wish we could have had her, but they're going to be good. She's an unbelievable player. You see her last night? I mean, she's sick.
Stud.
She is phenomenal.
I mean, I love watching her anytime.
Big Ten girl.
Yeah, Big Ten girl. I wish she was coming out. She's coming to Phoenix, man.
Matt, a well-known NBA team owner, has faced criticism for his management of the Phoenix Suns, but he has also made his mark with the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA. While his track record of building a sustainable team might not be flawless, he has an undeniable talent for recognizing superstar potential. This is why his teams frequently feature high-caliber players. Still, in a rare moment of candor, Matt shared his disappointment about missing out on Caitlyn Clark during an interview on The Pat McAfee Show. He repeatedly expressed how much he wished Clark could join his women's basketball team, the Phoenix Mercury. It's uncommon for team owners to publicly admit their admiration for players on other teams, but Clark's greatness clearly left an impression on Matt. He even went so far as to voice concern over the potential rise of the Indiana Fever, now that Clark is on their roster. Unlike most owners who would express confidence in their own team, Matt openly recognized the formidable potential of the Fever, marking a moment of rare honesty from a team owner. From an NBA owner's perspective, the thoughts of Grant Hill.
And so I know there was a lot of pressure. I know, obviously, Caitlyn Clark, what she has done for the game, the college game, now the WNBA game, and I think women's basketball and men's basketball. I think she has the ability to inspire not just young girls, but young boys as well. She's that dominant, that talented, and has that kind of game that resonates.
Part owner of the Atlanta Hawks, also provide valuable insight. While Hill is best known as an NBA legend and former player, his own experience entering the league as a highly touted prospect bears similarities to Caitlyn Clark's journey. Hill was expected to become the next great NBA star, even a potential face of the league following Michael Jordan's retirement. Unfortunately, injuries derailed his career, preventing him from fully realizing his potential. Given his experience, Hill's thoughts on Clark come from a place of deep understanding. In an interview with Jim Jackson,